Okay, I just remembered that yeah, my Turtle Beach is still I haven't got a new one to replace my one I'm using now that has like the for whatever reason like the volume is jacked up, but yeah. I was thinking of like using my one I'm using on console, but I don't want to like swap out to my console and my PC USB connections because I think that's how in the past I've like broken them or they just wear out if you do that, so I just want to like not worry about that. So yeah, part two, let's go about Mass Effect. So there's some rumors flying around on the forums about some new DLC. I didn't really read too much into it because I was like, whatever. Like, there's always a ton of rumors, so it's like whatever. But it's basically about the as I'm getting charged by a bear. The like the Turian or the female Turian biotics that were introduced with the what was that DLC called? Wow. A mega DLC, duh. But yeah. Like, there's that. I'm sure there's more stuff. I didn't really look too much into it, except to see the whole, oh, there's more rumor DLC, which is, you know, that's like halfway to confirm. I didn't really get too excited until it's officially confirmed by BioWare, so. Unless there's like a leak of like really gushy details, like there was with like I think it was like the Earth and Rebellion DLC. Because the collector stuff, or the retaliation, that was pretty well kept before it launched. So I was actually excited. I was like, ooh, didn't know about this. But it does seem like an obvious, or a duh, of course it exists DLC for like the new, whatever it's called. I don't know. It probably starts with an R, like always. Ridiculously awesome DLC pack with the female Turians, but I'm wondering like what else they're adding because I didn't really read too much besides that. I just checked it like the other day, so and I only like read one thread. I was like, oh, okay, there's Rumor DLC again, yay, something to look forward to. And then I also picked up Mass Effect Paragon Lost, which is actually not that bad. I was very iffy going into it because every time they put a clip up on YouTube, I would have like a a very extreme reaction to, oh man, this is terrible, or oh man, that was kind of awesome, or this was kind of cool but with some terrible parts. Because like the first clip they put up was like the battle scene at the very beginning of the movie, which is like it's like interesting because like the sounds are like it's like the sounds from the game they use, so that's pretty cool. So I noticed like all the biotic powers and like the combat drone sound, or not powers, but like the biotic audio and like the combat drone audio and like some of the gunfire audio, and like the designs on the guns as well, like the shurikens and the Maddox. But it's weird because like I was watching it, right, and like they're supposed to be like Alliance Special Forces, so it's like you would think, but I guess not, because like you'd think, you know, Alliance Special Forces, they have awesome gear, but then if you look at Mass Effect 2 when Ashley or Kaiden is on Horizon, they have an Avenger, so that's not exactly top line gear. If you go from Mass Effect 3 Manifest stats, or just in general, yeah, like who uses the Avenger ever? Unless they, like, if they have a choice of using something else. Unless they like don't know they can switch weapons. But yeah, I thought that was funny. It's like they had a like shuriken, which is, you know, some people like to crap on it, but it's not that bad. Or it's not. I don't know. It's not like the worst gun ever. So, but then again, it's kind of like I think it's one of the enders. It's either one of the enders or the Gundam where they make the whole comment like it's about the pilot and not the mech that they're using or something. So I guess it's like that. Whatever. Let's see. But yeah, it's pretty cool because like, see, what I wanted to do before this came out was to like take all the dialogue that you had with Vega in Mass Effect 3 and then like put it together in like a what's that word? There's like there's a word I wanted to use, but basically like like the abridged version of Mass Effect 3 according to James Vega from dialogue you have with him in I'm sorry, the abridged version of Mass Effect Paragon Lost, not Mass Effect 3, that you know what happens from your dialogue with him in Mass Effect 3. But then like I remembered after as I was watching it, like he has that whole conversation in I believe it's Purgatory. Is it Purgatory? The bar on the Citadel in the third game, when he's like, yeah, I really don't like to talk about it. You have to get me really drunk. And then like after watching it, I can see why, like the way stuff goes down. It's like, oh, that's why he said that. Because yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Like what they do with like the whole. There's like, I'm trying not to spoil it because I enjoyed it, but basically it does like it takes elements from like stuff in the game and like there's stuff like that in like the film. So it's pretty cool like how they did that. I'm trying to think if there's like multiple times that happens or if it's just this one part, but yeah, it's pretty cool. There's it's really it's like it's also weird too because it's like more timeline wise like in the Mass Effect 2 time, and it's not really, it's like before 3 pretty much. It leads into 3. So basically like there's I'm not gonna say what happens in case you haven't played 3 and don't know what happens, but basically stuff goes down that James has talked about, and you basically get to see what happens, and it's more fleshed out and more detailed. So like from the game, I thought it was basically, you know, just a mission, and you know, it's like just a mission that he was talking about, but there's actually more to it than that. Because like the colony that he references in the game when he's like Fel Prime was where I was stationed, and like all this stuff happened. It's like that wasn't just like a one mission that they went to and like they did stuff and like left. Because basically they go there, but then after initially doing their first mission, they stay there for another 2 years, and it's like one of those things in like the whole like Mass Effect universe where it's like the Alliance isn't like passing along any intel on the collectors, or they're just like not saying anything about like the attacks on colonies. So they're for like 2 years in the dark about like, okay, why are we here? What's going on? And like while they're there, it's like the colony is being like reinforced defensively, and like they have no idea like what's going down. But to me, it was like really weird because like they didn't even they never said like why, or there's like a plot thing in the movie that you would think, oh, this is an important place for the Alliance if there's a vault here or there's all this intel here, but you never know like what's in the vault or what the intel is. And I was like, oh, I didn't get to see what was in the. Well, I guess they got into the vault, and like you kind of see what it is, but it didn't really turn out to be like anything super important or awesome. But then it makes sense though, because like James even says so, like when you're sparring with him on the Normandy in Mass Effect 3, he's like, we didn't need. Well, he says what he says. If you're actually, no, that I think that dialogue plays regardless if you choose like Paragon or Renegade. Like he's like, we didn't need XYZ because of what you did, Shepard. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry, dude. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The only thing that I can ding the film for is like the scale of the collectors. It's like headshot. Is that like there's like this one part or these two parts where it's like you have as I said, the dingoes loose on this camp. You have like the normal human-sized collectors, and then like there's apparently and then like, but then you get these other collectors that are like, they're shaped like the normal collectors, but the size of them is like ridiculous, or not ridiculous, but they're like massive normal sized collectors which do not exist in the game as far as I know. So it's like I saw that and I was like, what are these things? That was weird. So yeah, but besides that, everything was pretty much true to the universe and true to the game. It was pretty cool. Like biotics have or like the way biotics were portrayed was pretty cool, and then like the whole that's like these cool. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. So like one of the other cool things that they did was they came up with like all the shorthand like words for like the words that are like used in the game. So like instead of saying kinetic barriers, they'd say K barriers, and like instead of saying omni tools, they'd say omnis. So that's pretty cool. But like yeah, it's just like a really interesting take on like, because like to me, I think the humans are the most boring in the Mass Effect universe. So it's like I kind of wasn't looking forward to watching this since it was like a focus on them. But it does have aliens in it, so it's like yeah, there's that. But like it was actually like a nice, interesting look at like the Alliance soldiers, or like Marines rather, and like just how they exist within the universe as they like confront stuff when they're on missions and stuff. Especially like when they're special forces, because it's like something happens that I'm not gonna say, and I was like, okay, at first I was like, okay, wait a minute, if they're special forces, wouldn't they have been like able to do that easier? But then after thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because that happens. So because they're able to do that, even though that happened, that like made them be even more awesome and more like special forces. So yeah. If you like haven't seen it and like and I'm trying to like not to spoil it, that might sound weird, but whatever. I'm trying to like keep it spoiler free here. So overall I enjoyed it. And then it's got like some really good what are those called? Let me look at the box. There are these two like cool extra bonus things. So it's like one of them's inside EA or something, whatever. They take like a tour of like one of the EA campuses on like the West Coast in California. So I was like, oh, well, this isn't going to show Bioware because they're in Canada. But it was really interesting because like people are always like saying like stuff about EA and how they're evil and like they're just like a bad company and blah 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 blah. But like you see like their offices and like stuff, it looks really cool because they have like a Starbucks there. There's like a ton of like really cool art on the walls everywhere from like games and stuff. Just like really cool environment. And just like, yeah, like I was like watching, I was like, okay, this is really weird because like people are saying they're evil or they're bad or whatever. But like you watch this and it's like, oh, well, it's kind of hard to have the I never really like thought that. So it's like, oh well, I wonder what someone like that thought that would like think of this when they're like, oh, he is evil, blah blah blah. But then like they see all these cool offices and like all their employees having fun. Whatever, or maybe they just say, oh, well, it's just staged, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there's that, and then, I think there's, like, there's, like, two more, besides the one inside Electronic Arts, is, it's called All Doors Open, a look inside Electronic Arts, and then they have Directing Effect, which I think Directing Effect, you can find some of those parts on the Funimation's YouTube channel because I was subscribed and that's how I kept getting clips of the video or the movie. I only watched like two or three clips though. Like, yeah, I watched 3 clips and I was like, I'm not watching anymore because I'm gonna buy it, so I didn't want to spoil anything. Because it kind of spoiled like one of the major like scenes in the movie, kind of, sort of, by just like putting it out there. Oh, I guess that's the other thing. Like from that part in the movie was like the only other janky thing was like the animation on the shuttles. Like they're way too fluid. It wasn't like if you like the Kodiaks in Mass Effect 3 and the Kodiaks in Mass Effect 2 have a very like specific like movement to them, and like watching Paragon Lost, they don't move anything like the shuttles that have been in the games before. It looks like you're watching the movie and it's like, okay, the shuttles do not look like, or they. Not that they don't look like that, but they do not move. The movement of them is completely off, or not completely off. It's just off. It's like, wow, that's weird. And they also have like, well, I'm guessing they're different shuttles, but they're like shuttles for like firing guns, and like the armament seemed like way like more. They seem way more well armed than the shuttles that you're on when you're playing Mass Effect 2 and 3. Because it's like, wait a minute, our shuttles don't have guns like that. They just rip through. Bad guys and stuff, so that's really interesting. Oh, another cool thing. I'm thinking about like the movie and like all this cool stuff, or not all this, or like as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking of all this other cool stuff. But basically, there's a Krogan in it, and like you get to like go on his shuttle. So like, they actually talked about this a bit in the I think it was either the Directing Effect or in the Behind the Mass Effect universe. But like there's this part where like there's like these parts where you get to like see stuff that's like not in the game or that hasn't been in the games before, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, cause like there's a Krogan in it, and like he like has a shuttle, and like on his shuttle he has like this funny line where he's like, of course I have weapons. That's what Krogan are made for, or something. Or we live for weapons. And so he has like this like depository of weapons. He hits a button and like all these guns pop out. And that's like another cool part where it's like you could see like the design of all the guns from the game like are the same as they are in the anime, because the grenade launcher, look, oh, there's another bear. The grenade launcher was like exactly the same from Mass Effect 2. It's like, oh, the design. Also, they had the cryo rocket launcher thing. I never used that one from Mass Effect 2, so that was pretty cool. They had that. Oh yeah, also like the effects, like the there's like some cryo ammo effects, some biotic effects, and it all looks really interesting. Or it's all really well done too. But like I thought that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, it has like the flamethrower, the firestorm, whatever, for like 451 or whatever it's called. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just yeah, I think they had like a revenant there too. Like I'm trying to remember all the guns that they had when like he pushes the button and all the guns pop out, because I was like, oh wow, this all look like but the like design is exactly the same from the game, so that's pretty cool. But besides directing effect, they basically just talk about like, it was basically just, well, it's I can't remember exactly because it didn't really like, I I'm trying to like remember what it was because it didn't really I'm just like not finding it. Having trouble remembering it because I'm finding it was so forgetful, but like it was basically just seemed like it was just it was just basically the production IG people and the Bioware people talking about how it was to collaborate on this thingy, or collaborate on this project. So yeah, they're talking about collaborating on this project, but it was kind of a boring. Well, it wasn't really a boring. Well, yeah, actually, well, it wasn't boring. It just wasn't as good as like the whole what was the third one called? Or not the third one, but like the one I liked the most was like an inside look at the Mass Effect universe, where they basically go to BioWare and you get like all this behind the scenes stuff, and they're talking about like how like making the game and blah 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 blah. It's really cool too because like they talk like during the time that they were recording this, they basically were like showing behind the scenes stuff for the Earth DLC, which is already out. So this was obviously like made before that, but that's pretty cool how like they have to go in and like tweak everything for like the movement of the characters and the powers, and like do it in slow motion to make sure everything works just right. So it's like, that's really, I don't know, it's like I thought it was interesting, but then I thought it was like also really weird of like how they do that, but then they tweak it, like they're always tweaking the game. So it's like it like makes you like, after seeing like what they have to do to like just get like a new playable class, it's like to like always be balancing the game. It's like, man, that does actually probably take a lot of work. It's like that doesn't. I was like, part of my mind I was like, well, it's kind of not really fun. But then there's like another part when like they show one of the animators, and he's like I can't remember. It's like this really cool part where basically it had like a character loaded in, and he's like showing like the animation, and he's like talking about like motion capture, and like some of it's done by hand, some of it's not, or they take the motion capture and then like they add their own tweaks to it. So that was pretty cool. But basically he's talking about like animating the whole game and how it's made of like thousands of characters and thousands of animation. That's like, wow, I can see why games take 2 years to make or longer, or why they take forever to come out, because they take a lot of work. But yeah, just like okay, to get to the point of what I'm trying to say there is basically, it's like when you watch it behind the scenes of like a DVD, and like you see all like the storyboards and like the concept art and like whatever is basically that, but for Mass Effect 3. So it's like, oh man, it had like all these cool like character concept arts of like the Asari before they were the Asari, or the Krogans before they were the Krogan, and like actually wait, no, storyboards was more about, was when they toured EA and they talked to the Dead Space, I think it was the Visceral Games, the Dead Space 3 people, about like making that, and how they have like just a ton of work that goes into like the whole storyboards, and like they take the storyboards and like they give it to the artist to make the cutscenes, and then just it goes from like just like the line of, or the chain, or the I'm trying to think of like a word here, but basically just like the manufacturing process of like when you're making a game, of like from concept to design to coding to production to whatever, and just like it goes and goes and goes. So yeah. Okay, that was a mouthful. Oh yeah, this is okay. So wait, is this a bear? Yeah, I think I have this here is like a bear attacking the pirate dudes as I'm attacking the pirate dudes with my scoped out Asari for there. And yeah, the bear did like so much work, and I didn't know how to do that much work. Well, that was a completely, wow. I just like went off of one topic talking about the video I'm doing commentary over. I'm sorry. That was, wow, really bad timing there. But like but basically it was really cool because they talked to wait, was that, yeah, Casey Hudson, who's like the executive producer or something of the trilogy. That dude and some other dude, and then a bunch of other Bioware people. But it was really cool. I was like, wow, this is really awesome. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But basically, like I was saying, it basically, if you like behind the scenes stuff of like DVDs and movies of like, this is how we make this, and this is how this is made. It basically is like that, except for Mass Effect 3. And it's like, and then for me, I never, since I'm always playing in 4DI to capture video, I like finally I was watching it in like 1080p because I was watching on my PS3 that's hooked up through HDMI. So I finally was able to like, and they show like a lot of the scenes from the game, and it was in HD, and I was like, holy crap, this looks so much better. I wish I had an HD capture device, but whatever. So I was like, man, this looks so good. I need to play it in HD. So yeah, that was fun. I don't think I have anything else to talk about Mass Effect. Okay. Oh, sorry. I just remembered something. So I had like one more correction. This isn't really a correction. It's just something I want to say at the beginning of this segment, but it completely bad timing again. As I said, like there weren't any new operations, but I meant to say it's like not until I think the 11th or something, or the 7th or something, because Bioware's on winter break. They said, you know, there's not going to be a weekend operation for however many weeks, so it's not like there's not going to be any more ever. There's just not going to be any for a while. Is there anything more to say about Mass Effect? Oh, the other thing. Okay, I just said the third thing of like the thing I didn't like. Well, it's not really a thing I didn't. It didn't bug me actually. I thought it would bug me more, but it didn't because I saw it in the clips before I saw the movie. And like besides that, there's not really they don't give those characters that much face time. But basically, Liara is in it for like a split second, and it's not Ali Hills doing the dialogue, and you have Captain/Admiral Anderson, and it's not Keith David doing the dialogue, and you have Hackett, and it's not his voice actor either. So it's like that was odd, but it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I guess seeing it before, seeing those in clips before I saw the movie on YouTube, like helped negate my rage that I probably would have had if I like saw it and I was like, wait, these aren't the voice actors. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of over it because it wasn't really about those characters anyway. So it didn't. And they played such a small role in the movie. It didn't really like matter to have them be voiced by somebody different because they're barely in it. And it's not really focusing on them, so it didn't disrupt my experience I had with the film. So it's like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. So. Yeah, overall, I liked it. I'd recommend it if you're like really, or if you're just a fan. I'd recommend it because I don't know, it just like outside of, or not outside of, but it wasn't like one of the best animes I've ever seen. So it's not like I can recommend it because it's just so good, but. Like, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it if you're not a fan, because it's kind of... I'm not sure if it's a good, like, introduction into the the universe, because I don't know. It's just, like, a weird... Mass Effect 2 to me is just, like, a weird entry point into the series, so it's not something I'd recommend, so... If you're not a fan anyway, if you're a fan, I'd say go ahead and check it out, or rent it, because it's not that... It's, like, an hour and a half. The bonuses are cool, though, like, the, commentaries. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say. It's like, the soundtrack is really interesting because like it sounds like it sounds like Mass Effect. Okay, I'm just gonna stop talking. I think I've gone on long enough. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, check it out. You might like it, you might not, but don't be like. They shouldn't be like the end all be all. Oh, I'm gonna judge Mass Effect based, or my basis upon the I'm gonna judge Mass Effect universe because of how good or bad this anime is. But yeah, they also do like something really cool with Vega that they didn't, like they kind of reveal something about him that they didn't reveal in Mass Effect 3. And it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, but that's weird that like they didn't talk about that in Mass Effect 3. So. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm done talking about Mass Effect, and I have nothing else to say about Mass Effect. So, because I've read Invasion, but I haven't read any other comics yet, so I can't talk about those. Or I'm not going to rather talk about those. I got the hardcover version of the Mass Effect Homeworlds comic, so I'm wanting to like read all those and like to see if like the Vega thing is like if there's any more details in that in the comic. And there's also like an epilogue comic on Mass Effect Invasion when like James is, I think he's in the Citadel, and like he gets in a fight with a Batarian or something. I didn't read it because I was done reading the main part I wanted to read, which was just the Omega stuff. And like I just skipped to the end to see like what it was, and it was basically just like a tie, or like it tied together how Vega got to be stationed in that the same place with Commander Shepard to be like where he was when he was in Mass Effect 3. So yeah. But yeah, I'm done talking now about Mass Effect and stuff. So I'll end this video here, or this part of the video, and I'll be back with what I've been playing, even though I kind of already talked about it in part 1, but whatever. So yeah, more chatting with Tekken after this.